Boozed and Confused is a comedy and weird topic podcast. Adult language may be used, probably by me. While our episode topics may be educational in nature, we are not responsible if your children start dropping the F-bomb to their kindergarten class. Listener discretion is advised. Hello, everybody.
Hey,
I'm Carolanne,
I'm Matt.
and welcome either back or welcome if you're new. Welcome to Boozed and Confused.
Boozed and Confused.
I always appreciate the echo. All right, this is episode 17.
Oh my gosh.
Who knew?
Are we that far into COVID quarantine stuff?
Yes.
That this is
Yes. Started
literally
in
all
August.
we have. This is literally all we have.
Yeah.
That and Christmas trees.
Yeah, we decorated for Christmas mostly this weekend, and I'm never the kind of person to do that before Thanksgiving, but there are no rules this year. So if people can ignore CDC warnings not to travel for Thanksgiving, I think I can ignore the faux pas of decorating for Christmas before Thanksgiving.
The foxpox. Yeah, our house is just rotten with trees right now.
We only have 2 Christmas trees. I'm not Martha Stewart with a tree in every room, because that's a lot of work. It's a lot of trees to protect from the cats. And
Yeah.
I don't have that energy.
Yeah.
So
I have to anchor the main tree. The other one I think is just kind of whatever happens is fair game.
yeah.
It's a little
good
small,
luck.
sad tree, but it's got lights on it and it's a cool ambiance in the house. Very cozy.
Very cozy.
The house is really its coziest when it's Christmas time, even though we're not at Christmas time, despite
Not yet.
what you see in Home Depot.
All right. Anyway, so Boozed and Confused, we are a podcast that just talks about weird topics that we find on the internet. And
Then I drink beer and I talk about stuff with my wife.
Yep. And the same thing for the last 17 weeks. So
It's good to be consistent.
Yeah. So before we dive into today's super weird topic,
Oh, this is the housekeeping stuff.
couple items. The first one is we are on all of your favorite social media platforms, so come hang out with us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I personally laugh a lot at the memes that we post, and all of that content is curated by me because I just find it so funny. If social media is not your thing, you're taking a little social media break, which I think everybody kind of should, maybe for their mental health. Send us an email. Send us your creepy stories, your weird encounters, your cryptid sightings. If you've seen Mothman, we want to hear about it. You can reach us at boozedandconfusedpodcast@gmail.com. And the last thing is, if you dig the podcast and you tune in every week, or even if today is your first time listening and you're just going to go through and binge everything, the best way that you could support us, and really any podcast that you listen to, I'm sure would appreciate, is by leaving us a review on your platform of choice. It does so much to help us, helps other people find us on the streams, and the algorithm kind of just helps boost us up a little bit so people can find us. So always appreciated if you dig the podcast. If you don't dig the podcast, I don't want to fucking hear about it. You could just tune out now.
Yeah,
You've had 4 minutes to turn back.
something algorithm, something, please.
Yes. And if you do leave us a review and you send a screenshot of it to us, we will send you some Boozed and Confused stickers for free.
Send the swag.
Yeah. So I think that's it. What are you drinking today?
This is a locally made concoction from BuckleDown Brewing.
I miss them.
They're still kicking, and I love them. Adventella is the beer. It's a milk stout, and it's very complex and very dark. You can't see through it when you pour it into a glass. It has hints of hazelnut, chocolate, and vanilla. So it's like a holiday splash in the mouth that gets you a little toasty as well.
It's, to describe the color, it's as dark as motor oil.
but it doesn't quite pour like it.
And it smells a little bit nicer.
I mean, it tastes fantastic. It's like, ooh, there's vanilla. Ooh, there's hazelnut. It's like eating dessert, but with alcohol. So it's win-win in my book.
And with that, I think it's time to get into today's topic.
Yeah, it's Russia.
So all signs point back to Russia, always.
Yeah, despite any lingering feelings about alleged collusions and whatnot, I think we can move on as a country. We can no. We can move on. I have
feel
a
like
very
we've got
good
some
friend.
other stuff going on right now.
I have a very good friend who lives in Russia.
My name's Jeff.
And his name is not Vladimir. His name is Jeff.
Yeah.
And he is an American living in Russia. He's a Western spy. Russia.
That's the podcast. We just repeat the word Russia in different inflections.
We wait to get flagged by the U.S. government
Yeah.
and get tracked.
If we
So that's
say
what we're
Russia
doing.
enough, it's suspicious.
Hold on, that's illegal. No, Russia's really big, right?
It's huge.
It's quite cold.
It's really chilly.
Lots of bears.
Yes.
Some guy named Rasputin.
Yes.
He was actually a horrible person.
Yeah, no. But the dance on Just Dance is fantastic. It's
And
a great
that-
workout.
And that old Rasputin beer, a stout, like I would love to have one of those during one of these, but
Mhm.
I'd be, boom, on the keyboard sleeping by then.
Yeah.
But Russia's also full of radiation.
Yeah, a lot of. I have to imagine Russia is one of those places where it's just, I mean, all right, I'm going to take a step back. I found this topic because I was looking at just like weird shit that happens in Russia, and there's a lot of really weird things that happen in Russia. But this one is one I haven't really heard covered a ton.
Yeah, it's why are all there so many babushkas in Russia? That's the topic today is babushkas wrestling bears in Russia.
The babushka conspiracy.
You know, one of my favorite subreddits is A Normal Day in Russia.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic subreddit.
Yeah. I did learn that, like, thanks to Reddit, I learned that people will commonly have bears as pets in Russia. Like, they raise them from being a young age, and then, like, what do they, like, use them as street performers or something? And then by the time that the bear gets so big that it's not so cute for street performances, the bear is just, like, super normalized to human interaction at that point, which is why you see videos from Russia of bears, like, sitting in the passenger side of his best friend's ride trying to holler at me.
Just like waving for bread and
Yeah.
stuff. Well, and then you got that fighter Khabib, Nurmagomedov.
Mhm.
That's not how you say it, but
No.
he wrestled bears allegedly in his childhood.
As, like, training?
Yeah, I mean, and then he choked
Mhm.
out Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Well, I feel like
And-
if it's a fight between a bear and Conor McGregor, I feel like the bear's probably always going to win.
Yeah, his new whiskey won't really fight a bear off.
Well, the bear won't shit talk like Conor does.
Yeah, you can't beat that. But hey, yeah, actually no, not talking about wrestling bears as a babushka. We're talking about, there's actually a number of crazy things that have happened in Russia, but we're going to kind of like zoom it in. I want to take a look at the Ural District of Russia, located in, we'll call it west-ish. It's not quite West Coast Russia, but it's definitely on the west side, a bit more inland though. So like middle west-ish. And they've got about 12 million people living there as of 2010. But they've got a lot of weird stuff going down. Not a lot of luck, actually. In 1957, they had their own mini Chernobyl, making a very large portion of their land uninhabitable.
So are we just assuming all the weird shit happens after 1957?
A lot of the weird stuff does happen after 57. Yeah. This was called the Mayak nuclear disaster, and it is the third most serious nuclear accident of all time, just behind the 2011 Fukushima disaster in Japan and the big boy in 1986, the Chernobyl disaster. Totally plugging one of our old episodes. I'm pretty sure we did one, didn't we?
I think so.
It's been such a long time. I mean, 17 whole episodes, you kind of forget.
Yeah, I'm kind of almost surprised I haven't really gotten more acquainted with the Mayak nuclear disaster. I know Chernobyl is like the big one for everybody, and then Fukushima after, but that's a little less, I think, because of human error and more because of just the massive fucking earthquake and tsunami that hit that area. But
Yeah. Chernobyl, definitely more of a human error and then a human cover-up. Fukushima was just a natural disaster. It was was it the monsoons? No, the tsunami.
It was the 2011 like massive earthquakes and then tsunami that followed.
Right. Yeah. This district made international news back in 2013 when that massive meteorite exploded over Russia. That was actually this district right here. It hit over southern Ural District. The meteorite hit speeds of over 42,000 miles per hour, almost 43,000 miles per hour. Though it hit high in the atmosphere, the power generated from this was 33 times more powerful than the Hiroshima atomic bomb.
My brain just cannot even process that number.
Yeah, once you hit anything like times 10, you've lost me. But this event takes place in it feels recent, 1996, the summer of 96, which in my brain is like 2 years ago. But it's really getting up there now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while.
We're going to zoom in a little bit further on the map to a town called Kyshtym, which is infamous for a number of things previously mentioned. It's also known for one of the most curious alien stories in recent history. So let's get down to business.
To defeat
the Huns? Did they send me daughters? I have not seen the new Disney one, Mulan.
Yeah, no,
I have no desire.
Well,
where's Mushu? Where's the singing?
Well, maybe we'll do another episode on the entire controversy around
Mulan and Disney.
The new Mulan, yeah.
And how Disney's his head is actually frozen and he's going to come back to life to kill all the children.
All roads come back to two things: Russia and Walt Disney's frozen head.
Who's that guy from the Boston Red Sox? The really famous, like, old baseball player. I think his head's frozen too. I think they're in cahoots.
So tell me about Kyshtym.
Well, no. We're going to talk about some old sad lady who lived all by herself. Her name was Tamara Prosvirina. Why do we not record? We can't pause it right now.
No, we're not pausing this, but...
Tamara Prosvirina.
I'm so happy I'm not doing the Russian names.
First try. We'll just call her Tamara. Okay, behind the scenes moment here. I'm actually going to change that to Tamara. But regardless, our main character was a schizophrenic woman who lived by herself in the small Ural region city of Kyshtym. And she allegedly found a strange creature living in the woods while out on a nighttime walk to fetch some water from a spring, and then brought the small creature home. She names the creature Alyoshenka after her son, who was in prison for stealing food from a restaurant at the time. People who saw the creature said it didn't really look human. His mouth was red and round, and he was looking at us. They said he looked sad, and that they felt pain while looking at him. And this is from a recollection of Tamara's daughter-in-law, who had a chance to meet and take care of Alyoshenka. So, like I said, Tamara was schizophrenic, and she ended up being hospitalized for this in a mental institution. And sadly, while she was away, there was no one who could take care of this little creature, and so it died. And the body was mummified by one of Tamara's friends, only later to be confiscated by local police, who showed not really any interest in investigating this thing's origin. However, local police officer Vladimir Bendlin was the first and one of the only people who tried to actually make sense of what this thing was and what the story behind it was. So he kept the body of the creature in his home refrigerator, and he commissioned reports that would, unfortunately, reach mutually exclusive conclusions. One claimed that Alyoshenka was not human, and the other claimed it was a child with terrible deformations. This is kind of where the story gets off the tracks. So, weird little creature thing found. The description given in the report really does not do it justice. You really have to see this thing to understand what it looks like. It's extremely small. The head is very large. It's like an elongated skull, and the limbs are tiny, 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 tiny body. Just the weirdest looking little thing in the world.
I will say in our sources for today's show notes, you can click through the links and there will be pictures that you can look at, and highly recommend just to give it like some context around what we're talking about.
So back to the railroad tracks and leaving them entirely here. While transporting this little creature, Alyoshenka, to a lab, scientists tasked with further studying the body end up becoming blinded by flashing lights on the road.
Okay.
And there's actually an interview regarding the event. This is from Boris Zolotov, who claims that he and a group of specialists who were in the car together, right there on the road, were stopped by a UFO. The UFO then shot a beam of light into the car, taking the body of Alyoshenka and vanishing into the dark night. So any and all research pretty much halted dead in its tracks.
I feel like you don't really need to do research if you see a UFO taking a body out of your car. I feel like the research has kind of completed itself there.
Well, yeah, but like with any UFO sighting, unless there's something recorded, officially, there's just hearsay. And actually, this guy, Zolotov, has refused to talk any further about it. He's just done. He had one interview, said his business, legit, like 2 minutes, and he's done.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I don't know who would be, would he be threatened over it? Like, is there a cover-up happening?
That's the conspiracy. So there are a ton of conspiracies kind of surrounding this story. Some say that it's the Russian government attempting to keep the public from learning about the reality of aliens.
Ooh, another plug for an episode we did 2 weeks ago about how aliens were potentially in contact with our human species.
I don't remember that one.
There's a lot of reasons why the governments, the world governments, probably know about aliens and their existence and potentially even work with them, and won't say anything to the simpletons like us. So,
I mean, I'm ready to roll with aliens. I'm ready to roll deep with my alien homies.
You don't remember that episode?
No, I'm joking. I totally do. Will Smith saved the day.
Yeah, we
remember.
had a point in that episode where we were wondering if the other was an alien, because at this point maybe they're just walking around like normal looking humans.
Like normal reptilians.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in response to these growing conspiracy theories, research labs from around Russia have made comment saying like, oh no, this is definitely not alien at all, but actually a deformed fetus.
Well, if that's their official record, I'm significantly less likely to believe that. And I'm a lot more likely to believe it's an alien.
No, we totally agree with the government. But, this hypothesis is not entirely implausible, as the city of Kyshtym was the site of this massive nuclear disaster. And mutations are bound to occur in nature and in civilization. So, I mean, find a dead fetus in the forest, schizophrenia, be lonely. It is kind of an understandable argument to make. But it doesn't answer the question. Like, where do we go now that there is no body, and how do we get to the bottom of it? There was actually an unnamed Russian journalist who was not very happy with the speculation of it being a government cover-up and that it's just a fetus. So if you have no body, what do you have? It turns out Tamara was taking care of this little creature and would like swaddle it in clothing, like a cloth blanket. So totally don't know how this happened. This guy obtained the cloth, and he sent the cloth to a lab, and they swabbed the cloth for DNA, and scientists in that lab claimed that the results were nothing they had ever seen before, which definitely screams alien.
No, it's definitely not alien. It's not alien.
I don't know how to make heads or tails of this, but it's out there. As of now, a decisive conclusion on the origin of this creature seems distant. Whether it's the vanishing of the body of Alyoshenka, or the kind of crazy reality that Tamara was fatally hit by a truck in the middle of the night, killed, this story does seem to have come to an end. So the question is this a government cover-up, or is this just the creations of a lonely, sick woman? We can leave the rest to you, but I will add that although Tamara is dead and Alyoshenka is missing, there is still one living person who has claimed to have seen this creature, and that is the daughter-in-law, who has appeared on a few documentaries which seem to be popping up left and right about this little creature. And I will make one more addition, is that Alyoshenka is not the only creature that has been found that kind of matches the appearance. You may have heard in the news about a Chilean mummy being found with an equally elongated skull and actually really creepy features, and that one is also under debate of what that is as well. So you got Russia and you got Chile. You got two hemispheres. You got north and south, all over the place. Wouldn't surprise me if we find about 10 to 15 more of these in 2020, because just 2020 things.
There's plenty of time.
It's almost December, but that means what, like 40 days left of 2020? Mm-hmm. Yeah, bring it on. Mm-hmm. I want alien confirmation tonight.
I mean, look, maybe Trump just like goes off the fucking deep end and he's like, you know what?
Here's everything. If I can't have it, no one can.
If I can't have the presidency, fuck it.
Here's all the secrets. There are ghosts in the White House, and they're all jerks. No one likes me. They're very unfair to me. We're not going to get political, though.
No.
It's not our place.
No. But what I will say is I think that there's definitely something more here than just, a human fetus with some deformities, if that's, the official story from Russia. Because I feel like, is it wrong of me to distrust the Russian government? And
no,
their official...
No, it's okay. It's okay. You can trust. Big trust.
I just feel like I'm more likely to believe the opposite of what they're telling me to be the truth.
Yeah. The Russian government lost my trust when they threw Drago at Rocky after killing Apollo Creed. That's when I lost my trust. Seeing those steroids go into Drago, if he dies, he dies, Mm-hmm. That's how I see the Russian government.
And the other thing that I want to back it up to a little bit more is that Tamara being hit by a truck in the middle of the night. So this was...
it was an accident.
The body was found in 1996. Tamara was hit in 1999. So there's, not a very large gap between the two. I don't think that was an accident at all. Was there anything, like any official news story that came from that? Like, did they, end up arresting the driver, or was it like a hit and run sort of thing,
it was accident. Things happen. We give him slap on the wrist. Slap on the wrist.
You know,
Don't you do it again.
I know everyone in Russia now has dash cams because insurance scams are so common, but I have a feeling that there were not dash cams in 1999. That would have been helpful.
There's no need. Sweep under a rug.
Oh, God. The other thing that I want to go back to is these scientists, and that one scientist who went on record for like a 2-minute interview and then just didn't say anything again. Is he dead at this point?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Or like,
the
is he like
livelihood.
Russian government kind of dead?
Maybe
that's
he's like an actor.
Maybe.
Because you got to keep, I think the more you keep people speculating about things, the more it kind of dusts the trail a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for something to be kind of messed up with the government, you got to really kind of highlight the more off the beaten path conspiracies.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Be like, no, you see, look what this guy's saying. There's no way. We're totally normal. No reptilians here, boss.
Everything is fine. And then the other thing that I find weird is this Russian journalist who just happens to get this cloth and then has it tested. And then it's, DNA that they've never seen before, which I would think scream alien. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of weird things about this.
I think the lack of a name. I scoured for a name for a good 3 minutes, like a good researcher does. No, it was longer than that. I could not find a name of this guy. But again, there was like video footage of this guy holding the cloth, like talking at a podium to people. But no name. Maybe it just adds to the mystery of the entire thing.
I mean, so we really don't have any names here with the exception of the police officer, Tamara, her daughter-in-law. But like any of these other officials, there's no name for it. And you know what? I gotta be honest, I probably wouldn't want my name published with it either. So I think that kind of wraps up our episode for today. We want to hear what your thoughts are on Alyoshenka. If you think Alyoshenka is just a fetus with deformities, if you think it's an alien. Curious.
Yeah, I think I have more questions now than I did when I began this research.
The other things we want to know are, what are the other crazy things that you've heard out of Russia that you want to share with us? Because I'm sure we'd love to go down another rabbit hole of weird shit out of Russia.
I smell a theme coming up.
Yeah, maybe that'll be another episode.
Instead of Halloween month, it's going to be like the Russian Revolution month.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
It's just Russian stories. I'm fully in.
Mm-hmm. Just in time to get you cozied up to the fireplace for Christmas. Okay, so that's it. Give us your thoughts. Again, you can reach us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or send us an email at boostandconfusedpodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget, if you like the show, please subscribe. We drop new episodes every Monday on your favorite platform of choice. And if you really like the pod and you want to support us, the best way that you can do that is by leaving us a review. And if you take a screenshot and you send us the review, we'll send you some Boost and Confused stickers for free. And you'll help us dwindle down the 5,000 stickers that we bought. We're still around 4,000 and probably 900.
That number is too damn high.
It is very high. So, let us know what your thoughts are on the episode. We want to hear your creepy thoughts on Russia, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, I've got a beer to finish.
Okay, bye.
Bye.